want to show people what the opportunity is.
A show that took a restaurant owner on their journey of change.
And do half of what he did at half of his speed with half his passion.
From frustrated and being a prisoner to the business, to freedom from the restaurant, the financial freedom they deserve.
And what they could do if they put their foot on the gas and didn't look back.
So my dad operated the pizza place in the old Little Italy building for 40 years. And he was very much so an old school mentality. How hard you work is how much you're worth, and you're the only guy who can do everything yourself, because if you're not doing it, it's not gonna be done right. I said to myself, I don't wanna do this. I watched my dad, work in the business the way that he did, and it seemed like not the path that I wanted to go down. Technology was my passion. I love technology and how people utilize technology to make their lives better. I went and worked for Apple for about 5.5 years when I was 16 and had a great career path with them and really loved where I was going. My dad had a massive brain aneurysm in 2015. I was hit with 4 options. We either sell the business, which my dad and grandma absolutely refused to do. We go bankrupt, which they almost were on the path of doing. We close the business, which they refused to do, or I come back and take it over. And I said, okay, if I come back, I'm gonna turn this thing into something bigger than it's ever been. And I quickly realized that I was heading in his same path that I did not want to go down. And if I went down that path, I was gonna be in the same position as him in just a few short years on the floor.
Here was this young man who truly understood what it was to take a family business to a new level, but had reached his limits. The frustration levels were high, and he couldn't see a path to getting off the pizza oven or delivering the pizzas, but he knew he wanted to grow. And that's really somebody that I bond with very quickly, because they're good operators, but they want to make change in their business. They just don't know what the next step is.
Doug, our COO, said, Matt, you've got to stop by Little Italy and meet Avery. Here we are a week later, 50 or 60 people in a small dining room, jam-packed Friday night madhouse. And he's like, can I sit down and have dinner with you, Christy and Cole? Sat there with us the entire night, had a conversation, didn't get bugged by his employees. And just seeing how he had made that type of change in his business over a short period of time told me he was an action taker. That's the type of people I love.
Was the willingness to say, I don't know what I don't know. I need to learn. I need to do something different, because all too often operators think, man, hospitality is not that difficult. It really isn't. It's hot food hot, cold food cold, clean, safe worker environment for your guests and employees, wow customer service, incredible product now to go. Like, if I take care of that, I'll make money.
When I sat with Avery that Friday night in his location, and he told me how 3 months earlier he had discovered David Scott Peters, and here we are just 90 days later, and he's got all this action taken. He's removed himself from the day-to-day. He's no longer slaving in the kitchen. He's hanging out on a Friday night with me and my wife. That was my sign that he was built a little different. Because most people, that process of going through the DSP world of operations is years, not months.
Matt and I, over the years, knowing each other, had multiple conversations. And at one point in time, there was a phone call. And it was the idea of what he wanted to do with season 2 of Heroes of Hospitality. And he said, you know what? As we go back and forth, text messages, phone calls, he goes, my idea is we go out and we fly to Avery. And we go, this is the unicorn. This is the best it's going to be. Not everybody's going to be where Avery is today.
And the thing is, nobody else is going to do it. 9.9 out of 10 restaurants that watch this will be like, I'll get to it.
But everybody can aspire and be on the journey to achieve it. Wouldn't it be great to show everybody what success looks like? Because both in my program and Matt's program, Avery is a fish to water. Faster than most people, executed anything, never said no, something couldn't happen, was always open to change and becoming better. And so if we show his journey, we could show other operators that this is where the apex can be.
You're in for a treat. As you know, Avery is the GOAT, the unicorn of running a restaurant, in my opinion. I think you agree as well.
100%.
What's happening? Welcome to Columbus, Ohio, finally.
It's fantastic.
It took us, what, 2 years to get him here?
I mean, he's only been, working with 3+ years. He's finally here.
Well, I've seen videos, right? When you were building this thing, and it's wonderful to be here.
So first, you're gonna give us a tour, but you're gonna get to enjoy some food later. And the coolest part about me being only 2 hours away is I get to come eat here every couple months. So.
I mean, you've had my balls in your mouth several times now.
Meatballs! And they're delicious.
Dear goodness.
So DSP, Avery, show me what makes this restaurant hum so damn good.
Absolutely. Well, I think it all starts right here. When you walk in the front door, being greeted the right way with the right person with the right smile is a huge part of the experience. We want to make sure that they get greeted quickly and fast and get sat right away. Also, while they're being taken back to their table, that it's not just like a follow me and they rush like a racehorse. They're slowing down and asking them, how you doing today? Welcome in, first time in, and kind of doing some of that probing work. We've got our mural, talks a little bit about the history, shows some of where we came from in the 60s as a grocery store into where we are now, kind of telling that story and painting that picture for customers. Some of the early work that we had done of building that brand was telling our story. When we were transitioning from the old location to the new, Matt said, you need to tell your customers about your past, where we've come from and where we are today, and just really painting the picture that this is a family business. I think it's super important to show a couple things. Number one, the top left corner, super big, our legacy from our family to yours. This is truly a family business, and we've been third generation now myself. It's super important to me that we kind of tell that story to customers that, you know, this is local, this is us, this is who we are, and this is where we've come from. And so through that journey, a big part of it is us expanding. And so we've got some photos of when it was a grocery store in the 60s and the meat counter when it was there, and that cooler is still there today. Now that it's made ground coffee, you can still see that cooler in the old store.
When he started planning this new location opening, he started telling stories. He started making a connection to what his grandparents had created, what his dad had taken over, and what his role was next. Whatever happened at that point, dude went on a rocket ship and just took it to a new level.
When we unlocked our doors at 480 Main Street in the new store, after 2 years of construction, we thought we were gonna do about 30 to 40% more in sales from what we were doing at 619. And when we unlocked our doors, we immediately saw 100% growth the first day. And we quickly realized, holy shit, we got some hiring to do because we could not keep up with the volume on both the preparation side, but also the service side.
You embraced checklists from the very beginning, from the old store, but especially here. I remember the challenge you had was the checklists were no good anymore. And there was, your brand new facility was not to your standard.
Yeah.
And how there was this mad dash to get it back up to standard and have everything laid out so you could impose your will.
We need to make sure that these people deliver the same experience that our old employees did, because we've developed them over the course of years and months and building a great team to move over to the new location. Through great systems, you can create accountability with your team. When we moved, had all these great systems at our old location, all of our checklists clear as day, what to do for every position. And when we moved, responsibilities shifted. Our employees were upset because they were like, I don't want to miss anything, and they didn't want to ruin the new place. And so they were used to that. Our core group of people that came with us were used to that culture of close to open and the mentality that, you know, everybody pulls their fair equal weight. And so
we talk about checklists all the time in the group. And I talk about how employees love rules. What they hate is the inconsistency in management enforcing those rules. And checklists get rid of that, you got time to lean, you got time to clean bullshit. And everybody knows they're being held to the same standard.
My first checklist I built was our restroom checklist. With David's teachings and methodology, I literally handed that tablet to a brand new hire that day and said, hey, can you go clean the bathrooms? Here's a list of how to do it step by step. And cleaning the restrooms used to be, when we hired someone new, a 25 to 30 minute training. We'd have to teach them, oh, you do this and you do that. And then they'd still miss something and we'd reteach them. And this person came back with a tablet and they go, I'm done. And I went and looked at it and I couldn't find a single issue in that bathroom. That's when I knew that this, applied to every role in the business, was gonna be a game changer.
I want to switch because my eyeballs keep looking over here. You've done a really neat job with an open space, but but it feels traditional Italian because you have almost like rooms. Talk to me about this next space and how you decided that you were going to put booze and why that energy got created.
Yeah, well, so light's a big part of a restaurant, right? So light and sound are huge. I've done a ton of research on environmental atmosphere. And as you notice, just walking from there to here, you'll notice the lighting shift pretty substantially, how much darker it is over here comparative to over there. That was done very intentionally. We actually have 2 light harvesters in this space. It's those 2 white things that are hanging from the ceiling. Those adjust our ambient lighting in the atmosphere based on how bright it is outside or how dark it is outside. So our atmosphere right now that you're in is the exact same every time, all day long. And so we want to make sure that our guests, when they're in the space, feel comfortable and they're not caused by distractions of, ooh, super bright, or wow, it's so dark in here. And so we want that perfect atmosphere. I notice every little detail. And some of the newest restaurants in town that come up, I love to go to them to see what they're doing new and that's unique. Through the coaching that I had gotten with David, all the calls every single week, there was always little knowledge bombs that would be dropped, whether it was certain things to pay attention to deliver a great guest experience, or if it was how to develop this certain type of leader to deliver a great guest experience. All of those learnings kind of compiled together. And I did a ton of research about sound, light, and temperature of a restaurant and how that environment impacts such a big part of the guest experience. So when we were picking touches to go in the new place, a lot of that came from online learning and also self-observance. These booths here are really interesting, and I love to point this out. This wallpaper is an architectural wallpaper. So even though it looks like little circles of pizza, if we sit down right now, Matt, sit down as I'm talking, you're gonna hear my voice change and shift. Shit. You're gonna hear it, and you're gonna hear me, almost like the Capitol Rotunda where you're standing on one side and the other side and you can hear each other. This is the same mentality.
I gotta ask a question. It's like an elephant in the room for me, and I know when people see this, it'll be the same for them. You took over a family business that was ballpark doing $500,000 a year in a traditional mom and pop setting with no acoustical wallpaper, with no things hanging from the ceiling that change ambient lighting.
And music.
And music.
We have 3 microphones that change the music volume, so if it gets too loud, it gets quieter.
So you went from this mom and pop, traditional, what we're all accustomed to seeing in like Old Town America, $500,000 a year pizza restaurant that was just hustling and bustling, to now you're pushing $5 million in a insane space with all this stuff. Like I literally heard my voice change there. That's pretty wild. How does another restaurant owner grasp that? Like somebody's in your position right now. They're 45. They've got a restaurant for 20 years. They're doing $500K. This is going over their head.
Yeah.
That's a big jump, the change you had to make as a professional, as a restaurant, and to go and do what you did.
Well, first and foremost, I got out of my own way. So when you're in your own way and you don't allow yourself to step back to take on more responsibility, you don't allow yourself to accomplish your goals and what you want to do. Being in David's program now for 3+ years, I've had the great opportunity of becoming a mentor for him, where I meet with restaurants on a weekly basis, anywhere between 4 and 5, and check in on their process. Where are you at? What are you struggling with? What's blocking you? Making sure that they have the guidance from somebody who's been through this process to make sure that they have the support they need to keep going on their journey. And the one thing that I see happen time and time again is the owner being willing to step out of their own way and take on the change, even if it's not what they want to do, even if it's not comfortable, and even if it's not, in their mind, financially feasible.
If I could grab every single restaurant operator and shake them, it would be get out of your own fucking way. Stop limiting your beliefs that you cannot do something, that it's someone else's fault. It's the government, it's my vendors, it's my employees, it's my customers. It's you. You are the leader your restaurant needs. And if you follow what Avery's done, he has taken ownership of any problem in his business. But if you listen to him, there's never something that will stop him. There is a way to fix it, to change it, to do something different. He will find the information, whether it's from me, Matt, or any other person. He was always on the quest to say there's a better way. And if you look at your restaurant and look at yourself and say, I can improve, then you will. But if you allow limiting beliefs to hold you back, you're doomed. Just expect the same damn results you have. Expect your life to not change. Be a prisoner. Accept the fact that there is something you don't know and you need to improve and are willing to. The sky's the limit. So as I'm standing here, There's a couple things. Number one, as you talk about, is growth. And when people are looking at their lives going, frickin' restaurant owns me. The restaurant owned you. And you took it from 500 to that small location to almost $2 million. And you were there morning, noon, and night. And as a manager, as a pizza maker, as an oven worker, to a delivery driver, to all the things, then going home and doing all the owner stuff, paying the bills, budgets, marketing, doing whatever you could. And so that big shift that I saw was when you started to delegate, when you started to train others and they started doing for you, is when you could focus on a project like this. Do you think before that, you could have identified this was an opportunity for you?
No, I always wanted to do something, but I did not know how to do it. I didn't know the path forward, and I didn't see any path forward because I was stuck doing a million other things. So I always knew that I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how.
But it's possible. I mean, that's what's crazy, because you got to admit, a lot of people are going to watch this. Oh, I could never go from 500 to 5 million. But you did it in 7, 8 years.
I watched myself at 22 years old at the time, following the same footpath as my dad, doing the same thing, making the same mistakes, working open to close 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And Tiffany, my fiance, was working another 4 days a week open to close, and we'd overlap on the busiest days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I started looking online for content because I knew there had to have been a better way. I knew there had to have been somebody who knew something I didn't know. I look at all these chains and I see them have 10, 15, 20, 30, hundreds of stores. I'm like, how do they get this to be good? How do they get a place to open without the guy who owns it in every location? Or how's this guy in 100 places at once? And it led me down a path to learning on YouTube. I found David's channel on YouTube and started consuming every video that he had, teaching about how to be a better restaurant operator, how to build a budget, how to do recipe cards, how to have cash controls in place. I had about 40% of it in, but that remaining to get to 100, I didn't know what it took to get there, and I never figured out what am I missing. It always felt like I needed to do 100 things and I didn't know where to start.
Limiting beliefs, I mean, that stops any leader. But I'm a little distracted, I'm not gonna lie. Talk to me about this hallway. This is fun. I'm just seeing the local
Pizza
photos.
boxes, baby.
Well, I'm stepping into your area, Matt. I mean, just right here.
Oh, yeah, social media.
Like you are, everywhere you look, there's a branding opportunity, there's a media opportunity, there's communicate some message to your guest. And this is amazing because not only will they might want to take pictures, they want to put pictures up there, but they're learning as they come in and out of the restrooms how they find you.
Exactly, and we change out the boxes on a regular basis. So we've got Apple Butter Day in town. It's a local festival once a year. Groveport has it. It's held in the city right down the road from us. We had a box designed for Apple Butter Day. So it's a fun box. It's got the apples in the back. It's got sticks of butter. It's got the dudes playing the banjo on stage. And that's what it's all about, is connecting with the community in different ways that I didn't see possible before.
This is unique marketing. Like your Facebook, your Instagram can't always just be about your damn pizza.
Exactly.
Or in your case, your balls.
And the
It's
amount
gotta
of
be about
user-generated content that this has generated for us is insane.
And just look at all the smiles. Like it's just, the energy is fantastic.
Yeah.
video content, storytelling, social media that didn't suck, getting customers involved, getting out in the community. I don't think there's a box in the marketing world that Avery has not checked and has not checked at a very high level.
So walking back into the ice cream shop / pickup area, we've got nice natural lighting coming in. We've got all of our different ice creams from Hershey's Ice Cream shown up here. So this area was super important to make sure that the customers had a dedicated area to go for pickup. Like I said, right now pickup is about 40% of our business, is carry out. And so this is our area for our drivers to work out of and execute their orders to their car, but also for our customers to not have to go through our main dining room or our host stand area. There's dedicated parking right on the side of the building that they can just park in, come through these front doors and get in and get out.
Why would you have ice cream? Well, I'm gonna have somebody standing there and giving deliveries and taking money from pickup people all day long. And so now all of a sudden, they're not a cost, they're a revenue center.
Into our bar area, we've got 20 different draft beers on tap, including one of them being a nitro beer. So a wide variety of options for people, featuring a lot of local craft breweries native to Ohio.
So one of the things you and I have talked about in the past, as you brought in the bar, there was probably a little disappointment that it wasn't a bigger addition to your sales. The challenge was you weren't also paying attention that your food sales went through the roof. So there was this additional sale happening at the tables.
Before, we didn't have liquor, it was all beer and wine.
Right.
So that dad who drinks a Jack and Coke, he wants his Jack and Coke, and that Jack and Coke is deciding where we're going. So when the kid's like, I want Little Italy, he's like, no, not going there. Let's order takeout, and I got to pour my own Jack and Coke.
Well, I can tell you, an operational side of things, I'm glad that you didn't have a lot of bar experience because you simplified what you offered.
Yeah, there's like 10 bottles up there.
Right, and it's so important. You make your specialty things, people are gonna love what you have. You still have the beer, you still have the wine, you still have coolers. You've got enough options. You didn't need a huge back bar and what would be a mixologist working for you.
Let's go to the kitchen.
One of the two most important systems any restaurant operator should have are recipe costing cards. Recipe cards allow us to know exactly what we're going to put on a plate, how much money that's going to cost us, based on literally the invoice that showed up yesterday, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Because we have software now, we take pictures of invoices, it goes up to the cloud, and bang, everything is up to date. Talk about these scales, because this was brilliant. I about dropped my jaw because I've got pizzerias that are counting pepperonis. I've got them with a scale and a bowl, and they're putting the ingredients in, dumping, and it takes this extra time to a point where they go, man, I just can't use this, weigh everything out, which is consistency, profitability, all those things. But you have nailed it. Talk about this.
So as we start building a pizza, the biggest thing is consistency, right? We want to make sure that we give them the same product every single time. So pizza goes on the scale, we tear our scale so that way we're set to 0. Now everything that we make, when we make it, is going to have a weight. We verify it matches, 7 ounces of sauce, set back to 0.
Back to 0.
And now it's time for cheese.
So like you always say, somebody with a giant hand could really screw up the price of a pizza.
That's right, the cost, yeah.
Cost it.
Our cheese on a 14-inch pizza is 9 ounces. I'm a little over at 10, so I'm going to pull that off now. I'm at 9 ounces.
What's this done profitability-wise to the restaurant?
We've dropped our food cost by a solid 6 points just from these alone, because menu-wise, our pizza is, I'd say, 45 to 50% of our food menu sales. And
extra 2 ounces of cheese adds up. If you can control that portion, the over-portioning, the waste, those kinds of things, you ensure a couple things. One is that your guest gets the same exact dish they had 500 times before. So consistency builds business.
When they come in and spend their hard-earned money, I need to make sure that they get the product and service they expect. So the first thing I had to do was start building recipes. I actually bought a little tiny scale that they sold at the Apple store that hooked up to my iPhone. And I slid it underneath the bowl, and I had my dad make me everything. Make me a thing of dough, noodles, dressing, sauces. And I secretly recorded, ingredient after ingredient, the weight for every single thing that went into every menu item to start building out consistent recipe cards. Because I knew if I had recipe cards and I could give these to a team to produce the same recipe time and time again, we can create a consistent product for the customer. Let's show you that dough room. So come on in, you'll feel that air blast out when you walk in here. Again, it's a little bit warmer than the rest of the restaurant, you're gonna notice, because we need that dough to proof and rise the right amount.
Just looking around, how big a change was it from the family restaurant to this?
Massive. I mean, we were rolling every single piece of noodle by hand with a hand crank, what you'd see on like a, the movies where, the fine chefs, their hand, we were doing up to 1,500 pounds a week of pasta by hand crank. And now with this machinery and obviously the growth of the restaurant, we're doing about 3,000 to 3,500 pounds of pasta a week with having the right equipment and then obviously the volume of the business growing.
Are we gonna get dirty next?
Well, the dishwasher is a critical piece of what we do and how we do it. We were struggling to keep up with our volume of the new store and the equipment that I purchased. We talk about equipment. This was one of those pieces. I had a single rack dishwasher that they would just push racks into, close the door, and they were doing 1.5 minutes, one rack. And these guys were staying here till 3 in the morning on busy nights trying to wash all of the dishes from that night's service. And so we bought this Hobart dish machine. It's about $100,000, but this thing can pump out 300 racks an hour. And I took this station from a 3-man job on Fridays to a 1-man show.
I can tell you, Avery exemplifies the complete antithesis of throwing money at problems. In fact, he's learned how to master his budget.
I saw some pizzas on that menu board I hadn't heard of yet. I'm thinking, how have I not had these in my mini trips? I gotta broaden my little Italy taste buds today.
I've only had, it's my first trip, so there's so many that I need to try. I'm gonna just have to.
I think we just get like 7 pizzas today.
Oh, a good
just
step.
Run through it.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
So, a man after my heart, you've not only got your loyalty program on here, but you've also got your slice of life. Talk about some of the in-store marketing you're doing, and you also mentioned you have a pretty cool thing you're working on with these inserts.
Yeah, so it's important that we tell the story, the full story, right? And so all of the things that we want customers to know, number one, our staff need to know about it. Number two, our customers need to know about it. And our customers are only gonna know about it if we put it in front of their face and our staff are actively talking about it. So the signage at the tables sends people where we want. I had these little like wood things custom made with our little ingredient pattern on them and a little logo etched in them. But we drop in different inserts to communicate different messaging. And then Slice of Life's been great for us, our vlog series where we bring our community online. And so we're highlighting what we're doing in the community, what people in our community are doing, what we're doing as a business with our vendor relations and things like that. It's been a great vlog series. We're going on over a year now, 53 episodes I think we're up to, and every week we've done an episode for 53 something weeks.
You know, you're the only person that I coached on that actually has gotten a year in.
Yeah. There's no metric that I can put on the value that the video series that we've launched brings us. I know many restaurant owners all the time. I talk to them on a weekly basis and they always say, how much does it cost and how much am I gonna get from it? And I can't measure it. But what I can measure is the conversations that I have in our restaurants with our clients that when they come in, they tell me they saw this week's episode. Or, hey, I saw you doing X, Y, Z. That was hilarious. And that is the most fulfilling part to me, that they're watching our story and they're tuning in week after week. We're growing this audience of people who watch every week. And then there's sometimes where we go to one of our vendor partners. Maybe it's our lettuce manufacturer or our bread company or soon to be our sausage supplier. We're going to tell their story of how it integrates with our business, but customers don't understand what goes in behind the scenes to make their product great. So we every week give them a little bit of that insight of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why it's important to us. And that right there has built truly the culture for our customers and employees that we really wanted all along.
As I walk around Avery's restaurant today, they're crushing it. They are checking off every single box. But when I think about the turning point of his marketing of the restaurant, it was a few years earlier, and a post he made that had a lot of emotion. It was a picture of him and his dad in the kitchen, and it had a story behind it. And before that, Avery's marketing was what a lot of pizzerias did. Pizza specials, the combo deals, the food in the kitchen.
That post went wild. People started commenting on it. There was 500 plus reactions on it. And then when I would walk through the store, people would go, oh, I seen your stuff on Facebook. I love that. Or, hey, I commented on that. And people started to really in person tell me that they're interacting with our stuff. And it was the first true sign of me seeing people connect with the person, not the company, because it was my story to tell.
They think the customers just want to come eat pizza with you. But there's a deeper connection. When you've got a restaurant like Little Italy that started from the grandmother making food on the side at a grocery store, that's something people need to know about. They need to know that you grew up in the kitchen. They need to know that it's grandma's recipes. They need to know that you went to school down the street, that you and your family are involved in the community every day. That's what makes you different from the giant chain down the street that's got millions of dollars. And that's when he took a whole nother approach to marketing that nobody else has. Let's talk about other marketing. You've got the rewards program. Now, I have to mention, it is driver loyalty. You've been a client of our company for a few years on the acquisition, on the loyalty side. Why have a loyalty program? Aren't your customers already loyal?
So we have to give our customers the reason to be loyal to us. Now we can create a great experience in the store and then build a connection with our people or love our product, but sometimes people forget. And so our loyalty program allows us to capture that customer's information, know who they are, know what they buy, know how often they come, know everything about them so we can talk to them specifically to them and not to the masses. And so that's been huge when, we're talking about, hey, our bar is slow and we want to drive our bar traffic up 10% during the 2 to 6 o'clock hour. Okay, well, who are our customers who come between 2 and 6 o'clock and also who sit at that revenue stream, the bar? And so we can segment that information and go, I'm talking to bar customers. And if I can get all of them to come back one more time, or half of them, or 10% of them to come back one more time, because I'm talking to them, not to the other 15,000 people that are in my database who come in with their family and sit in the East dining room, then I'm more inclined to get their response, to get them to come in here and try us out.
And not only does Avery have these programs in place, they're working at a high level. Him being a driver customer for the past couple years, I've seen it firsthand. But then today, getting to use it, went to his new coffee shop down the street, Main Ground, got a cup of coffee, joined the rewards, went back in the afternoon for a second cup of coffee, got more points. Seeing how easy everything works, seeing how he's embraced technology and he's connecting all of those dots on the customer journey is what it's all about. So we talked about operations, we got a tour, we saw the unique stuff, we talked about marketing. I think was it time to eat?
Hoping there's a pizza on its way.
There is. I saw her lingering. Yummy.
And then here's the freezer, and I have one more coming out.
Fantastic.
I love these little crust pieces.
Putting myself in their shoes of a restaurant operator out there who may be watching this going, I'm so far away from that. If that's you, I was there. Just know that this journey is worth it, it is possible, and the return on investment with it is priceless. When I actually stop and sit and look back at what we have come from to where we are now, and all of the work that's gone into achieving all of these accolades and things like this, where I'm being, put up as the poster child, golden unicorn restaurant operator, it doesn't often feel like that's the case, because I'm always looking for what's in 10 years. And I'm very proud to look at the work that we have done and the people that I have assembled together as my team, and look at the work that they do every single day to deliver on our mission and promise, which is create lasting memories that are worth sharing. And they do an excellent job at that, and I couldn't be any more proud.
And that's what season 2 of the Heroes of Hospitality is all about.
We're gonna find two people, two restaurant operations that are willing to make the change, invest in themselves.
That want to take Avery level action with me and DSP.
And that's exciting for us, because we can show everybody that anyone, if you're willing to make the change, can.